I guess the number one question I get a lot, number one with a bullet, what should I do on social media? What are good ideas for content? And I've made plenty of videos about ideas for social media organic content. You can look at trends, you can look at hashtags on the different platforms, and you can speak to those, follow those. If there's dances or AI tools that are regenerating images, things like that, those are all good ones to get on, because those, based on the algorithm, like with TikTok, those will prioritize to the top of someone's feed if that's what they've been looking at or looking for. But if you're looking for, okay, I don't want to do that, I want to establish my store with as subject matter experts, I mean, your best bet, every single OEM for every single new car has a digital brochure for that car. And typically, in the beginning of that brochure, in the beginning of that manual, I know if Ford had this, BMW had this, Nissan had this, in the beginning of that brochure or manual, it will have what features changed from the previous model year. So a really quick, easy way to get video content is to look at those brochures and what changed. So if there's a, I don't know, warning system that tells them now in their side view mirror on that refreshed model that a vehicle is there, show them how that works. Show them what it sounds like. Have someone film you while you're driving, and show them what that sounds like, what the beep sounds like, what the flash looks like on the mirror, that kind of thing. 2-3 minute videos tops. If you produce enough of those that talk about the new features, you can generate your own hype about that vehicle. So with regards to your team, anytime you have a new team member come into your store, do a really quick 2 to 3 minute get to know you. Hey, this guy just started here. What's your favorite sport? What's your favorite team? Where did you go to high school? Where did you go to college if they went? I mean, any of those questions, they're going to set them up as subject matter expert. What's your favorite car? Do you have any pets? You know, stuff like that, basic questions that you can ask them that A, aren't too personal, and B, help your followers see them as human. So another thing you can do that goes over really well, and I know I've talked about this before, is doing a time-lapse video of one of your lifts in your service bay. People love seeing that stuff, the time-lapse video kind of, it gets really good hits, it gets really good watches, because they can watch, you know, essentially 2 hours worth of video in 10 to 15 seconds. So I would highly recommend doing something like that. Another aspect of it, if you have a collision center, again, you have to protect PII, so don't show the license plate, don't show the VIN, don't show any identifiable features of the vehicle, but you can actually show in the collision center, hey, you know, crunch, look what happened to the front of this, and then here's the before and after photos, and maybe like a time lapse of during the process somewhere where you can show what you did to fix it. For used car only stores, and I see this a lot, where they'll talk about maybe a lifestyle or an image associated with the vehicle, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I would challenge you to take it a little bit step deeper. So I remember seeing a video for a Tesla at a used car lot, and they were talking about, oh, the style, you know, you get this cool card and that's your key. And that's great, there's nothing wrong with that. But there are so many other things about a Tesla that you could talk about that I just thought, I don't know that a lot of people know that. I didn't know a lot of this stuff about it before a friend of mine bought a Tesla, and I learned all the stuff this thing can do. Do you know that Teslas have a movie mode, a celebration mode, a romantic mode, where there's a fireplace that'll appear on the screen in the middle of the console? I mean, they have concert, you know, mode that you can, the windows go up and down, and it's just, you need to make videos of all those different things that they can do. You just bought a Tesla, then you need to play the car doing celebration mode. Things like that. It has a frunk. I'm not even going to tell you what a frunk is, because I'm going to make you go figure it out yourself. Google frunk. Guarantee that more people Googled frunk than you would ever dream of. So if you go on and make a video explaining what a frunk is, perfect. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. What are the unique selling features of that particular vehicle? There's unique features on every Highline vehicle has some semblance of unique features. Every Highline make, has some unique features to that particular brand. And there's some lesser known things about Highline vehicles too that you can capitalize on as well, as far as making organic content. So with German vehicles, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, I think Audi does, I'm not positive about that. They all have a European delivery program. It's like the least known program out there. It's a great program. It's absolutely a fantastic program, but not many people know about it. So if that's your store, talk about that. What does that involve? What does that look like? Do you have pictures from some of your customers who've done, or employees who've done a European delivery of their vehicle? Show that. Show them driving on their, the Autobahn or wherever, you know what I mean, over the seas. What's the benefit of doing that? Well, here's the benefits of doing that. Some OEMs will waive destination and delivery. Some of them will, they'll add a different package on the vehicle to make sure that the damage isn't there. There's different stuff you can do that makes a big difference in the selling point of European delivery. So talk about that on the lesser known programs that your store or your manufacturer might have. This is a good forum to talk about those. So not only explaining the features from one vehicle to the next, or one model year to the next, but also talk about the different programs that your maker model, your store might have. I know pretty much every manufacturer has a fantastic program for first responders, for firefighters, for police officers. What about, and are there any benefit or incentive programs for teachers? Are there an incentive or benefit programs for nurses? Are there any, things like that you can do? And I mean, you can make a day in your service department for first responders, and every first responder that comes in gets 20% off their service bill, or whatever you want to do. I had one of my stores, and then I actually gave the idea to another store. We talked about doing a ladies' day and their slowest day of the week in their service department. And that day was reserved for not just women, but women who came in on that particular day got 10% off their bill. And actually, what I did is I found out what the slowest day a week in my service department was, and I hired a nail tech to come in. I paid her like $200, and then she got tips, and she just did mini hand massages for like, I think it was 2 or 3 hours or something, like 2 hours, 2 hours. You had to book, you had to put your name on a list. But it was really simple, and everybody liked it, and they still get traffic for that. They still do that to this day. So different little things like that you can think outside the box. But definitely showing off the lesser known programs, the upgrades and features from one model year to the next. That's just social media gold, in my opinion. That gets you lots of traction. That gets you lots of knowledge, and establishes your store as subject matter experts for that particular make model. That would absolutely drive awareness to, and hopefully drive them to your website. That's the ultimate goal. You really want them to be on your website and in your spider web to capture that business. So make sure that you're sandwiching your content, or in some way, shape, or form in your videos that you're doing, that you have given the customer the ability to reach out to you, to engage with you, interact with you. That's the other key feature that a lot of people miss. Is it's awesome to do great content, but if they don't know how to contact you after the fact, it's kind of you're shooting in the wind, if that makes sense. So you really want to make sure that you give them the ability to reach out to you. Interested? Would you like to hear more? Things like that. Putting a phone number, putting an email, putting an ability to chat, things like that are absolutely necessary on those types of, on that type of content, to make sure they have someone who they can reach out to learn more about whatever it is your video was. So I hope that helps for this week. Thanks for watching. Happy selling.